and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to Outdoors People with me, C.W. Getz, and her, Maya Marzaki. Good evening. It's Wednesday, October 18th, 2023. We've got a cloudy 67 degree Fahrenheit, 20 degrees Celsius temperature today. You can really tell it's fall now, Maya. The leaves are all falling down, and it's windy, raining half the time.
Oh my gosh, for you.
I know. Well, you know what's really funny? Because I'm sweating. I just noticed I'm sweating, and I'm thinking, okay, why? I was out this afternoon. As I mentioned, I shot some footage for an upcoming mushroom episode. Check that out, right?
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I don't know when that's going to happen, but we just shot some footage this morning, and then I came home and mowed my lawn, and I'm telling you, I went out there with a sweatshirt, t-shirt underneath of it, long pants, shoes, which, and I'm telling you what, it's about 10 minutes out there. I said, I got to go get a jacket. I got a Carhartt I put on in the stocking. It was chilly. When the wind was blowing, I'm like, man, it is fall here. So trying to get accustomed to the indoor temperatures, I think. Yeah. How was your weather down there in São Paulo, Americana, São Paulo, Brazil?
Oh my gosh, it is spring, but it doesn't feel like spring, feels like summer already.
It's letting it out already? Oh my gosh.
Yes, with 23 degrees Celsius, and it means for you 73 degrees Fahrenheit. Really sunny, warm day.
That feels perfect though. I mean, 73 degrees is like ideal. That's what I keep my house, 73, 74.
Yes, kind of. Is better because we are in the end of the evening, but during the, oh my gosh, so warm.
Oh, was it really that hot? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And you got a little humidity going on too. So I get that.
Oh yes, a lot. It's raining every day actually.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the kind of weather that makes your underwear stick to your skin, doesn't it? Yeah. I hate when that happens. Juan's back there going, what? Did he just say that? Yes, I did. I'm sorry. Well, tonight's episode of Outdoors People is brought to you by Rutabaga Paddle Sports, providing time on the water.
By Campground Views, making camping easier.
By Duluth Pack, made in the USA since 1882.
And by Jackson Kayak, pursuing joy through paddle sports.
Tonight's episode is My Life as a Professional Paddler with our special guest, Jennifer Fratzke. 37-year-old ultra endurance paddling athlete and coach Jennifer Fratzke has been paddling racing for over a decade with thousands of miles to her credit. Having studied political science at the University of Hawaii at Manoa, get that right, Jennifer made a decision to follow her true passion and natural ability to pursue a career as a professional ultra endurance paddler and coach. A few of Jennifer's achievements include second place female solo at the Yukon River Fest 2019, fifth place solo female in the MR340 2018, 2019, and 2020, second place solo female in Alabama 2020 and 2021, second place solo female in the MR340 2022, and second place female solo in the MR340 2023, which was not just but very recently. So with that, welcome to the show, Jennifer.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What kind of, those are some pretty impressive titles, man. I mean, like, wow.
Thank you.
Yeah, that 2023 race, that was not that long ago, if I'm correct, right?
No, it was quite recent. Yeah, it was.
Saw you post about that. That's very cool. So, well, hey, glad to have you on the show.
Yes, thank you for being here with us. And how did you first get into paddling?
Oh, wow. Well, it was years and years ago. I had a friend who was doing the Sea Paddle NYC. It was more or less like a 20, I think it was about 27-mile paddle around Manhattan Island in New York, that supported autism. And he said, "Hey, why don't you come over and, I'm going to donate a bunch of money to this organization and we're going to go race around Manhattan Island on a stand-up paddleboard." And I'm like, how far? And yeah, I went and did it, and I just fell in love with that feeling of course I didn't stand up the whole entire time and it was really grueling, but it just kind of became an addiction. That's kind of how it started.
Well,
Yes.
yeah. It's funny the people that say, "Gosh, when I tried it the first time, I was addicted." And you got to know if that happens, that is the sport for you, right, or the activity for you.
Yes, and it is funny. I was going to say something like that too. All rock stars we interviewed started just like like with no intentions. Oh, someone invited me, and then I just fell in love and never stopped it.
That's true. That's true. Oh my God.
Really?
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much what happened to you then, Jen, right?
Yeah, it is. And I mean, I think that kind of lit a fire in me that I didn't even know was there. And it just kind of went on from there. And I'd say the first ultra endurance that I was introduced to was when a friend who I knew from stand up from prior years. He was living on Maui at the time, and I had went over to his house for coffee. I was there for another paddling event, and I said, "What is all this gear you have here? Where are you going?" He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go do this 1,000-mile paddle in the Yukon. It's a race." And I said, "Oh my God, what? That sounds so fun!"
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I got into that's when I did my first MR340 back in 2018. I just randomly found that race because the Yukon, you kind of had to have like prerequisites, like to prove yourself that you could actually finish it. Because there's like grizzly bears and no big deal.
Yeah. Just that.
Yeah, so I couldn't do that one that year, so that's how I got into the MR340, and that was my first true ultra endurance race. And then I was like, wow, 340 miles, I did it. What more can I do?
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, here's a term: surf ski. Does that ring a bell? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so it's funny. Surf ski is something that I've known of for a very long time, but I just never participated in the sport. And coincidentally, this year I started actually racing surf skis, and it was kind of for a specific reason. And I love it. And I'm kind of like, why didn't I do this a long time ago? So a surf ski is just basically, like, if you think about it, you can think about it in two ways. It's either a very, very narrow kayak because you are double blading, whereas I come from more of an outrigger single blade background, or you can look at it like an outrigger, but with no outrigger. And of course, more stable, shaped a little differently, but just real narrow, real fast, slices through the water.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's a new term on me. I've not heard of that, so thank you.
Oh, really? Yeah, most people, when they see a surf ski, they think it's a rowing shell of some sort. They really don't know what it is. So you're not alone in that.
Well, I feel a little better knowing that, because I do sometimes feel like I live in a shoebox, but yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I was feeling the same. So thank you guys for making me feel in a group of people who doesn't know.
Yeah.
Now you know.
Now I know.
Now we know. That's right.
Oh, funny. And which do you prefer, solo padding or team padding, and why?
Oh, that's a hard one. I think that there's something to be said about both. I personally, because of the direction I've gone, obviously I prefer solo paddling, and that's just because when you're on a team, you have to dedicate a lot of time, and it's not necessarily your own time. It's working around other people's schedules and other people's times, and if you don't show up, you're not only letting yourself down, you're letting a whole team down. So for me, with kind of my kind of crazy lifestyle and just my responsibilities, I think it's a lot easier for me to find my own time to paddle and to train solo than it is for a team, because I raced with a team for several years, and there's definitely positives to that. I mean, you make I mean, some of my best friends that I have right now, I met at Outrigger on Oahu for the 6-man team. And we've created so many memories and we've created a bond. And I really do miss that. And I love that about team paddling. But then, with the solo stuff, you really just, you're counting on yourself and you're the only person really that you're going to let down. So it's a little bit different. So I do prefer the solo stuff overall, just for the way things are in my life, but I like team as well.
See, here's where I'm going with that. I'm going, you people are slowing me down. I could be so much better on my own.
Well, it's hard not to think like that, because a lot of times you're like, oh, it's everyone else. It isn't me, and it's like,
right.
I've definitely done a lot of growing up, looking back, like, it's not, you can't point fingers. A team is a team. You guys are one. I mean, everyone's putting in the effort. Everyone has to work together. So you really can't really point at one person. I mean, you can, but you don't want to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because there is something to be said for a chain's only as strong as its weakest link.
Yes.
And if I think, even though you shouldn't say anything, of course, but I think maybe in the back of your mind at some point, maybe you've said, there's this one person, or maybe it's more than one. I don't know. Just like, boy, you know what I'm saying. So,
yeah, and I think one thing I've learned about that too is that some of the strongest outrigger teams you see out there, like Team Bradley, and even like the Outrigger Canoe Club, now they're doing so well. They kind of know each other so well that maybe the weakest part of one of the team members, someone else can pick up for that, and vice versa. So it's really being on a team, being one and being a family and learning to know each other and how you can actually help each other out. So not competing against each other, but working together to make the team stronger as a whole.
Do you ever get to the point where you're close enough and team members that you can kind of start chewing on each other a little bit? I mean, not in a mean way, but like brothers and sisters. Okay, you ever get to that point and say, "Come on, Joe," you know what I mean, like that? And you ever do that? Yeah. That's good, I guess, right?
There's a reason why they say paddle ticks. I mean, there's definitely a lot of drama. There's a lot of drama. That's one thing I don't miss. I don't miss the drama. But it comes with it. I mean, anytime you're with a group of people, different personalities, different perspective, different life experiences, you're gonna have drama.
So it's not really what you're saying; it's the approach. It's the relationship. Yeah.
Yeah. But we love drama, so I'm on that as well. No, I'm kidding. But what I love about team is that you bond so well when you are doing any sports with a group of people. Then they really become friends, and each one push each other up. So that's so nice. And I used to do all like lone sports like swimming, and now I'm into group sports and I'm enjoying it so much. So everything we have the good and the bad, right?
Yeah,
and the drama.
It's lonely out there paddling 340 miles by yourself,
I would think so. I mean, geez. I mean, do you take some tunes with you or radio? What do you do?
When I first started, I used to listen to music, but now I don't. Unless I'm like super, I've stayed awake for, 2 nights and I'm really suffering. But I have these little mascots I bring with me, and everyone who's paddled with me or seen me out there racing, they know that I have my little mascots. I think I had a narwhal one year. It's like a little stuffed animal that I bring. And I talk to the stuffed animals, and I'd like to think they talk back to me, but I don't know if it's really happening or not.
Well, I mean, have you tried like Metallica or something like that? Because that would just get you going, I don't know. To me, it would. That would make me just paddle like, get you mad. It's like working out, right? You get to play the music that makes you angry. You do better,
Yeah, I like country music when I'm paddling.
Oh, see, I would fall asleep at that. I couldn't do that. That's just
me. Start belting it out.
Or either that or you just start getting all bummy and mellow. Depends on the country, group, I guess, or music. Hey, let me ask you, what inspired you to leave Hawaii and then move to Mexico? What was that?
I wouldn't necessarily say it was an inspiration. It was kind of at a moment in my life where I had no other choice. Hawaii is a very expensive place to live. being a single parent, was really struggling for, I'd say, a good 5 years. And it finally just came to a head where I was like, okay, like this is not working right now and I need to make a change. And was just going through some hard family stuff and just decided, you know what, I'm going to take my God, he must have been 13 or 14 at the time. And I said, we're just going to go to Mexico and take a year sabbatical and just
Wow.
go down, just do nothing, no worries, just surf, paddle, fish.
I'd like to try that. I think, yes, right. That's right.
That's what we did for almost a whole entire year. And it was great. We needed it for our mental clarity. And it was kind of a reset.
I like that. Maya?
Yeah.
I like her program. I'm thinking about doing that. It's a great, that sounds too good to be true, but she did it, right?
Right. And the food in Mexico is delicious.
It is.
It is. And it's different, mainland Mexico from Baja. Baja is more of I would say more of a seafood influence. That's what I got out of it. Because I grew up in Oregon eating like real Mexican food from like, let's say, Mexico City. Oh. But Baja is a little bit, the cuisine's a little bit different. It's kind of hard to explain. Definitely a lot of shrimp, a lot of fish.
Yeah. So you're living it up in Mexico, right? What brings you back to Oregon? I mean, I'm thinking you're in paradise here, right? What happened?
Yeah, a couple of things. So first and foremost, the money was running out. It's really hard to make a living down in Mexico being American. I couldn't really find a good stable job. I was definitely doing my coaching down there, but it just wasn't as consistent as I would have liked it to be. And so I also had an opportunity to join Team Stellar, which Stellar Kayaks, that's the brand of surf skis that I race now. And I had an opportunity to connect with them and be able to do my first ultra endurance race on a surf ski. So for me, it was kind of timing, like these races were coming up. I had the opportunity to paddle for Stellar and have them give me a surf ski to use. And it kind of just, the universe just kind of like threw that at me and it all made sense. So that's why we left. And that's why I'm in Oregon, to kind of just fulfill some of those obligations.
And all the arrows point in the one direction. It's pretty obvious sometimes, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And never it is easy find a good job and establish a worthy life when you are abroad. I've been in this situation 2 times, and I know how hard it is. So sometimes it's just better when back to your country, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow, but I mean, I'm so grateful and so thankful that the opportunity was there and I took it, because Mexico was just lovely. I mean, I think my son and I both learned a lot down there, and the Spanish too, like my son's dad is from Peru. So we already knew Spanish.
Wow.
So it was a great place to be. Lovely people, lovely place to be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Latin, so I'm going to say good stuff about Mexicans, right? And I'm sure you guys had the opportunity to travel a lot there because it's a big and beautiful country, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's nice. Well, guys, don't go away. We are going to a little break, but we will be back.
A few years ago, someone asked Rutabaga's owner, Darren Bush, "Hey, how long have you guys been selling boats?" Darren replied, "Well, we don't sell boats. We sell time on the water." Of course, that comes in all types. We help people paddle more safely with Rutabaga outdoor programs. We rent canoes, kayaks, and stand-up paddleboards. We sell and install racks to get you from home to adventure. Rutabaga's got everything you need to get you out on the water, like paddles, life jackets, dry bags, and clothing. Rutabaga Paddle Sports, on the web at rutabaga.com. Mention you saw this ad on The Camping Show.
It is time to go camping. Introducing Campground View's virtual tours. You can tour the campground, see the sites, see if they are available, and click to book your perfect spot. Hit the open road. and explore the amazing places found in nature. We make it easy to discover, find, and book your site so that you can go have the fun and freedom you seek. Campground View's virtual tours make it easy and simple for you to see where you are going.
Duluth Pack is handcrafted for every lifestyle, making memories since 1882. In store at 365 Canal Park Drive or online at duluthpack.com.
We're one big family, a community of paddlers, and we want to make sure that everyone has a great time out on the water.
We are made right here in Sparta, Tennessee, USA.
This is where every Jackson kayak is born. Built by hand with a focus on innovation.
We are Jackson Kayak.
We are
Jackson Kayak.
We're Jackson Kayak.
We are Jackson Kayak.
And we're back with Jennifer Fratzke. Jen, let's have you tell us a little bit about the race that you recently competed in. The MR340. What is that race? Tell us a little bit about it.
So that race is a race that holds very dear to my heart because, like I said, it was the first ultra endurance race I ever did back in 2018. So it's a 340-mile race on the Missouri River. So it starts at Caw Point in Kansas City, Missouri, and it ends in, I always butcher this, I think it's St. Charles. I always want to say St. Louis, St. Charles. And there's no portages, no dams, no nothing. You have, I believe, 88 hours to complete it. And you can basically paddle the whole thing nonstop through the night without sleeping or stopping, whatever you want to do.
And is that what you do?
Yes.
What,
2018, I didn't do that, but the last 2 times that's what I did, because if you want to be like the super competitive, if you want to try to win, you have no other choice. You got to do that.
Okay. I know there are people out there going, okay, what happens when she has to pee? And that's for number one. Number two, everybody's going to ask that, right?
Right.
Or maybe I'm the only idiot. And then, do your legs ever cramp up? I mean, you're a kayak. I mean, how do you keep from going numb or getting cramps and things like that?
I think that's the thing that sets the ultra endurance racers, or at least the ones that do really well apart from the others, is being able to endure those things, because no matter what, you're going to feel some of the worst pains you ever felt in your life, and they're not going to go away. Some people choose to take painkillers. I'm one of those people who I just don't take painkillers. So I have a really extremely high pain tolerance, and I'm able to block it out. So yeah, your legs go numb, especially in the outrigger, because you're more kind of leaning toward the outrigger, especially if there's headwind, side wind, anything like that, where you have to keep the AMA down.
Oh yeah.
Without flipping. So then like your whole left side will go numb, from your pretty much your waist down. You can hang your leg over the side and stretch it out, but it's just going to go right back to just being a pain in the butt once you put your leg back in. That's something I really enjoyed about the surf ski, is that everything is just more even. Like you're paddling left, right. You're not having to do weird leaning. It's more core stuff. So there's that. It's just being able to endure that pain, know that it's going to come, it's not going to go away. And I mean, I tell you, I had some of the worst pain this last MR340. I don't even know how I got through it, because it felt like I had put my hands on a burner and got, whatever first degree burns. I forget what level, the worst burns you could ever imagine in your life. And then having to grip a paddle in headwind and just keep going.
Oh, wow.
It was like excruciating pain just for hours and hours, and it never ended.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's that.
you ever fall asleep? And I know you're going to tell us how you pee in the canoe or how to put a kayak. Do you ever fall asleep? I think maybe after so much sleep deprivation, I would be going, waking up and,
Right.
oh, that's right, I'm on a river,
Yeah, no, it happens. I mean, you definitely doze off after staying awake for 2 nights in a row. It's that second going into the third night where it's like, I mean, your body, you got to sleep at some point unless you're taking some sort of stimulant, which no, I'm not. Well, that's not true. So there's I'm going to tell everyone one of my secrets right now.
All right, you heard it here first, exclusive. We love that.
Yeah. Ta-da-dun.
Tell all the people that I coach this, and everyone is like, "Oh my god, I wish I would have found this stuff sooner." So it's called MEG. You can find it on Amazon. It's military energy gum, and I think it's 100 milligrams per piece. And that's like my emergency. I keep that in my life jacket. So if I'm falling asleep, I will pop one of those. There was one time where I took one too many and had a caffeine overdose, and it was really scary. I thought I was going to die.
Oh, wow.
But it keeps you awake. It kind of just takes the edge off and keeps you alert. I've also, you slap yourself, splash yourself with water. There's things you can do. But yeah, I think I've definitely sleep paddled a couple times.
I wondered about that. But one thing is you're not driving anything that's dangerous, a motorized vehicle. So if you fall asleep, it's not. All right.
The worst case scenario, you have to wear a life jacket. You're not going to drown.
Yeah, absolutely. So the last one that everybody's waiting for is, okay, when you got to go to the bathroom, what do you do? Do you pull over? Can you pull over? I don't know.
So when I first started these races, I did pull over, but I mean, can you imagine if you're really going for the win and you're pulling over every 20 minutes, you're losing 5 minutes, the amount of time it takes you to get to the shore, get out, go to the bathroom, get back in, get back on the course.
Sure.
So I've learned over time that you just pee yourself.
So there's really no trick to it or anything. They're just like, here we go.
I mean, for the men, they're lucky. They can just pee in a jar or whatever. But for the women, it's so much harder for us. And I've tried so many different things. And
the devices, yeah.
Yeah, there's really nothing easy. I mean, you just end up, in Hawaii, we call it shishi yourself. And it's like, it
is what it is, right? Yeah.
You're like, whatever. I don't care if I smell like pee.
Yeah, I can shower.
Just splash some water.
Yeah, you are kind of in the water anyways, so you can work something out. So that's fine.
That's the end of the world.
Yeah, right.
If you want it that bad, you'll do whatever.
What's more important, not smelling bad, or winning the race, right? You got to there you go. Because one's just temporary, but when you lost a race because you had then that's forever.
Yeah,
I would agree.
That sounds so much fun, right? You don't sleep, you feel terrible pain, and you pee yourself.
Yeah, who wants to be an ultra endurance?
When you put it like that,
No, I'm just kidding. You are like a hero, and everyone who does any endurance sports are like hero.
Yeah,
and you guys have such a strong mentality, and I look it up for you guys. That's amazing. That's really nice.
Yeah, huge respect. Yeah.
And I'm talking about that. What has been your biggest failure, and what did you take away from that experience?
Oh man, that's such a hard question for me. I think, oh man, I've been thinking about this one. I don't know if I have an answer to that other than I would say overall, my biggest failure in life has been doubting myself. I tend to doubt myself a lot in a lot of these races. I think, if you haven't noticed, I always get second. There's a woman that always beats me, and I've always kind of doubted, like, there's no way I'm ever going to beat her. It's just going to be impossible. And this last race, actually, the MR 340 2023 is when I kind of realized, actually, it's absolutely when I realized that all this doubt is all in my head, that I was actually ahead of this woman for a very, very long time. And I do strongly believe that I could have beat her. And that was when I finally got rid of all that doubt, and I trusted in my training, and I trusted in everything that led up to what I was doing, even though it took me years. I mean, sometimes it takes athletes 10, 20 years to make it to a point that they always wanted to be. And it's just not giving up,
Yeah.
getting rid of that self-doubt. So that would be a lot of my regret, is over these years, just kind of accepting always getting second, always
Really?
getting second.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize that people actually do that. I suppose maybe if it happens over and over again, you're like, but I'm from the school, never quit, never give up, never say never, right?
Yeah. So it was, 2023 was a big year for me, and it really made me realize, like, you can doubt yourself as much as you want, but it's one of those things where you really have to just, you put in the work and the results are going to come. Just don't give up. Even if they don't come for 10, 15 years, you're going to get there if you don't stop.
Great advice.
Yes, that's a great advice for life in general. So
Yeah.
I hope everyone who is listening to that can learn through her experience, because we in general, we put ourselves down and we don't believe in ourselves. So let's believe in ourselves and put some work to make whatever we want to do happen.
Yeah.
So that's a really nice. Well, we have some pictures to look it up, but after the little break, so don't go away.
A few years ago, someone asked Rutabaga's owner, Darren Bush, "Hey, how long have you guys been selling boats?" Darren replied, "Well, we don't sell boats. We sell time on the water." Of course, that comes in all types. We help people paddle more safely with Rutabaga outdoor programs. We rent canoes, kayaks, and stand-up paddleboards. We sell and install racks to get you from home to adventure. Rutubaga's got everything you need to get you out on the water, like paddles, life jackets, dry bags, and clothing. Rutabaga Paddle Sports, on the web at rutabaga.com. Mention you saw this ad on The Camping Show.
It is time to go camping. Introducing Campground View's virtual tours. You can tour the campground, see the sites, see if they are available, and click to book your perfect spot. Hit the open road and explore the amazing places found in nature. We make it easy to discover, find, and book your site so that you can go have the fun and freedom you seek. Campground View's virtual tours make it easy and simple for you to see where you are going.
Duluth Pack is handcrafted for every lifestyle, making memories since 1882. In store at 365 Canal Park Drive or online at duluthpack.com.
We're one big family, a community of paddlers, and we want to make sure that everyone has a great time out on the water.
We are made right here in Sparta, Tennessee, USA.
This is where every Jackson kayak is born. Built by hand with a focus on innovation.
We are Jackson Kayak.
We are
Jackson Kayak.
We're Jackson Kayak.
We are Jackson Kayak.
And we are Outdoors People, back with our guest, Jennifer Fratzke. Juan, let's throw a couple. Let's throw the photos up there that Jen sent us, and we'll have her tell us a little bit about each of them, okay?
That's my favorite part.
I know, it's like show and tell in kindergarten. I always love that too, right? Jen, what is this? I love this picture. What are we looking at?
Oh my gosh.
So I really love this photo too. And I have a good friend, Andy. He lives on Oahu. He's a very amazing photographer. He does really funny stuff. He contacted me on Instagram one day. I didn't even know who he was, but I guess he was just looking at photos and stuff that I did. I've done a lot of water stuff, obviously, in Hawaii. And he messaged me and said, "Hey, would you be interested in doing a photo shoot?" I said, "Oh, yeah, sure. Let's do it," And the first time I met the guy, he was explaining to me what kind of photography he wanted to do. And he was like, it's underwater. Like he was wearing a dress underwater and lifting weights underwater and doing all this stuff. And I thought, oh God, like it's been so long since I've held my breath for that long. I don't know if I can do this. And, he's such a crazy, like, just awesome person. He's very wild personality, very go with the flow. And it's a lot like my personality. So we vibed really well. And we just did a whole bunch of photography underwater. And this was one of those really good ones. I think this was at Waimea Bay, where the water's like really, really clear.
It looks crystal clear. I mean, there's nothing in there. I don't even see any fish. I mean, there's nothing.
No, there wasn't. There wasn't really any fish in this specific area that we were in. And believe it or not, this is probably about the sixth shoot that we did. So it takes a lot of practice to be able to keep a very calm face like that underwater with your eyes open.
Oh my God.
To make it not look like you're holding your breath.
Yeah. or the salt water's burning your eyes to death. That's another thing.
I tried so many times and it never worked out for me.
It takes practice.
Wow. Yeah. Because you don't even look like you're underwater. That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. What do we got here?
I love this photo. So this is from the 2023 MR340. So this is my Stellar kayak. It's a Falcon. That's the version of it. That was the boat that was given to me to use for the MR340. So this was the start. So this is where I believe the Kansas River and the Missouri River merge. And that's where the start of the race is. That's at Cobb Point. So that was me getting ready to put in.
Oh, so they start this at the confluence and like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. I like that boat though. These are cool.
Isn't it cool? I called it the Bumblebee. I love the colors.
Yeah.
And again, this was me at Caw Point. Just really excited, getting ready to race. So that was just another shot right at the start, before the start.
These boats look like there's some balance going on there. There has to be.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, man.
Yeah.
And that was one of the challenges in switching over from outrigger to surf ski, was that the surf ski is very unstable. So I had a lot of challenging moments in the beginning of the year because I just learned how to surf ski. Like literally first time I'd ever been on a surf ski, paddled on a surf ski, was in February of this year, getting ready for a 340-mile race just a few months later. So I had to learn fast. So I put in a lot of work.
Wow.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
That was me actually that's my backyard. Well, at my parents' house in Oregon. That's the Willamette River, the beautiful Willamette, where I did all my training on. So that was my trainer surf ski. That's a little bit of a wider surf ski, the S18SX by Stellar. So that was what I trained on before I went more narrow.
And faster, of course, right?
This one is not as fast as the Falcon, but it's still a very fast, awesome boat. Just a little more stability so that I could learn. Yeah.
That's cool. You have that lake.
So this is also the Willamette River. I believe this is a Falcon. So what I did was I paddled, I think this one was 65 miles upriver, camped on this island, and this was my test run to see what gear and where I should place it to get ready for the MR340 and the Alabama 650, which I didn't end up doing this year, unfortunately, but this was my test run.
How long is that boat, Jen?
Oh my gosh.
Just a guess.
I should know. I think it's 19.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long boat.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
Is it heavy?
No, it's not. It's not heavy at all. It's not as heavy as you'd think it would be. This is probably me leaving by the looks of the boat and the river. This is the Missouri, most definitely, just leaving from probably a checkpoint. Maybe I stopped to refill water.
Go back to the weight, Jen. What do you think that boat weighs, the Falcon?
Oh, the Falcon. So there's different layups. That one was a little bit more of a stronger layup in case I hit a rock or something. I would say that boat weighs only about 25, 30 pounds.
I knew you were going to say that. That is so light.
Yeah, it's so light. They're so nice.
Especially for that length. My God.
Yeah. And there's the start. The start of that's the start of the MR340. There's tons of people. There was over 500 paddlers that year. So actually most years. It has the most people out of all the endurance races, ultra endurance paddles. It's the most people. It's the most popular one. And what's really cool about it is that I always tell people that come to me and say, "Hey, I'm really interested in doing an ultra endurance race." This is the first one I tell them to do because there's so many places that your support crew can access you.
Oh.
And there's so many places that you can stop safely that it's a good race to start, except for 2023 was dangerous.
But generally, that's a great idea. If you're going to try one, do it in a place that you can safely get out and blah blah blah. And it doesn't. Yeah, you don't walk away with a bad taste in your mouth should things not work out.
Yeah, don't do the Yukon for your first race.
There you go.
Again, Caw Point. The people that are there seeing you off. I mean, this is just the community. The community gets so involved in this race, so it's really exciting. You get people that aren't even paddlers coming out to watch. Support crews, family members. I mean, it's a party.
I mean, I think it's interesting though. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, why? Yeah, hey, if I was a community person going, hey, let's go down and watch that boat. And, this guy's race today, taking off. I'm like, I think that's a great, yeah.
And it's fun to just see all the different crafts. I mean, people make crafts. They make like pedal drives where they're pedaling with their feet and they've rigged these paddles to move. It's just crazy.
There we go.
Oh, bad memories. Oh my God. So these are the hands I was talking about. And this picture does not even do this justice. The pain. Yeah, that was just like, I don't even know what it was. It was waterlogged hands. I mean, it felt like a giant blister over my entire hand. I was getting blisters, water blisters, all kinds of blisters.
Why not gloves, Jen?
Well, when you think about it, the gloves are really trapping in moisture anyway. Sometimes I'll wear gloves if it's really cold outside to keep my hands warm, but really a lot of times gloves irritate me. The only gloves that I've ever found that don't irritate my hands are by the company NRS. They make some really nice gloves, but it wasn't cold during this race, so I didn't have to wear gloves, but it's kind of a hit and a miss. I mean, your hands need to breathe.
And you're paddling with carbon fiber, am I correct?
Yes.
Not a piece of wood, which is more of a natural material, might help that. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm just kind of wondering.
Well, the carbon fiber does definitely rip up your hands after a while. So, but this is a mix of just me gripping the paddle too hard because I'm a single blader that has switched over to a double blade. So I'm gripping the blade too hard and it was just constant rain. So my hands were always wet. Like I wasn't the only one whose hands looked like this.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
my support crew, my lovely support crew. She stepped up when I had no one to support me for this year's MR340. I put out on Facebook that I was looking for someone, and she stepped up. Her name's Nicole. She stepped up and offered to follow me along the course, and she was awesome. And we created a great friendship out of it. And that's one thing I love about paddling: the people you meet.
yeah. That's all. Next.
You're taking me down memory lane.
Hey, we're winding down about 6 minutes here. We're going to have you tell us a little bit, Jen, about the podcast that you do. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So I started a podcast a few years ago called 90% Mental Ultra Endurance Paddling Adventures. And when I started it, I really had no expectations. I didn't know what it was going to be about, or what, if anyone was even going to listen to it. But it turns out that people do really like it, and that's awesome. I just invite not random people, but I invite people that have done races like this before. Like I've had Sally O'Donnell, Bobby Johnson, which are two first place winners of the Alabama 650. Just really good paddlers, really good people, just kind of talking story with them. And not only do I learn something, that's kind of why I started it, just because I wanted to talk story with people and kind of learn more and see why do they do ultra endurance, and kind of see if we have things in common, which it ends up we do. And people just started liking it and listening to it, and from all over the world. And I thought, oh my gosh, okay, this is cool. And people started asking me, when are you going to do another episode? Or, can I be on your episode? Or maybe you this person be on your episode. So it's been kind of a fun little project, a little bit draining, honestly. It's hard. Imagine. Yeah. I mean, you guys know podcasting is,
takes time.
It's time consuming, but it's definitely been really rewarding, and I hope to keep it going. It's just talking story with friends and having a good time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. And we really love listening to you guys, like, who knows?
Yeah.
Right. And Jennifer, where can people go to follow you on social medias?
So social media, I do have Instagram. I'm not very active on it. I kind of took a little bit of a break from it, but everything is still up there. Some cool pictures on there. You can check out some of the stuff I've done. Paddle, fish, surf.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my Instagram. And then Facebook is just my name, Jennifer Nicole Fratzke. You can find me on there. I'm pretty sure there's only one of me. Yeah, and I do, like I said, I've kind of taken a little bit of a break from posting, but I hope to kind of get more in there, because it's just such a great way to connect with people, all over the world that you don't otherwise see every day, or you don't live close to them.
It's absolutely true. Yeah, it sure is. And it's kind of a community in its own, really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like that, yeah. Well, Jennifer, listen, we want to thank you for being our guest here tonight on Outdoors People. Absolutely a pleasure having an opportunity to interview you and get inside the mind of an endurance paddler. I love that whole thing, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're a little crazy, but
I think a little bit superstarish. I think that was what I was. Yeah.
Yeah, all rock stars are crazy. So that's a really good thing.
There you go. That's right.
It's a compliment, actually.
I'll take it.
All the superstars are awesome, man. Yeah, like that. A little bit crazy.
Yes, and thank you very much for your time. And we'd also like to thank each of our sponsors for bringing you tonight's show: Rutabaga Paddle Sports, Campground Views, Duluth Pack, and Jackson Kayak.
Be sure to tune in for next week's episode, Holiday in Aruba. Along with Maya Marzaki, this is CW Getz saying thanks for tuning in to Outdoors People. See you next week.
Ciao.